Hello everyone, my name is Oriajan. I'm an associate professor at American University of Phnom Penh, Cambodia. Today I would like to share with you our research finding on what learning online means to Cambodian students. We will explore how COVID-19 affect Cambodian student learning online. In this presentation, I'm going to talk about some background information in Cambodia and the long-term period between March 2020 to February 2021. Student online, what does the research show so far? What content analysis and sentiment analysis softwares do? What content areas do students talk about? What content areas are strongly connected to others? We'll also discuss data emotion, polarity, specific emotion, and other attitudes, and some discussion points. Cambodia is located in Southeast Asia with a population of 16.5 million population. It's a young country with nearly two-thirds of the population being under the age of 30. 71% of the population use social media, especially Facebook, and 52.5% use internet in 2021. The country GDP per capita was 1,512 US dollars in 2020. It is considerably poor country with child poverty and child labor. The government has spent a significant amount on education, but infrastructure still poor. For many months, it seemed like something happening elsewhere. Between March 2020 to December 2021, there were only 360 cases. The government offices closed, schools and university online. There were some restriction on large gathering and national holidays. But markets, shops, businesses remain open. 41% were infected with COVID-19 in November 28 incident. A patient zero, a local woman with no foreign travel, she visited a Phnom Penh shopping mall, resulting in the first confirmed person-to-person infection in Cambodia, 7 months after the World Health Organization declaration of a pandemic. Government successfully controlled this incident. Tourism continue, Siem Reap and archaeological site and Sihanouk Wills beaches still open. In late December, Ministry of Health enacted a 14-day quarantine regulation for incoming tourists. From January to February 2021, schools, universities, factories, shops, and businesses, night markets, bars, clubs, as you can see here, still open, as usual. Punitive restriction on international entering the country. There was a significant negative impact on the economy. Masks were widely worn, but not always seriously. Most infections result from laborers crossing the border illegally from Thailand and Vietnam. February 2021, so when the outbreak happened, and Phnom Penh was in 2 weeks total lockdown. Police have to make order and sometimes beat people, and they were strongly criticized by the public. But the city governors defend the police beating as like parents trying to discipline their children. As of May 7, 2021, the government classify some districts in two different colors, red zone, orange zone, and yellow zones, with on the basis of case rate. As of June 5th, there were 54,221 cases, and 720 people died in Cambodia from COVID-19. The first 11 months of the pandemic seemed a bit unreal. Students' lives were not greatly curtailed. The sense of the threat was felt to be an exaggeration, but they were learning online. My research on student reaction to the pandemic. Students around the world seem to report similar emotional and attitudinal responses to their plight: frustration, stress, anxiety, uncertainty, helplessness, boredom, and mood swings. The following section, I will be discussing about research methodology. There is a problem with a standard psychological test. They use preset questions. Preset questions shape what participants can report. So it is prejudge the result. You don't really learn what they think. For example, how stressed are you learning online? Likert scale, participants must choose not at all, a little, somewhat, or a lot. What if they would not choose to report stress, but something else? If you give them an open prompt, they write words they choose. Then they define the topic. Participant groups show pattern similarities in what they think a topic is about. You can analyze what they write and find out. This study was done at American University of Phnom Penh, Cambodia. We involved scholarship students and privileged youth. There were 84 students involved in this study. They were 17 to 20 years old. All of them registered at AUVP composition course. Our prompt: what is like learning online? Data collected in the first week of December 2020. We analyzed the corpus for themes and emotions. We use LIWC software, a sentiment analysis software. Our data taken at the end of the 11 months COM period. Our hypothesis was that analyzing data from a country with a low coronavirus case rate will allow us to find out what students really think about online learning. What do softwares do? We download the internet, purposefully use NLP and AI to sort into multiple overlapping lexical classes. It generates concordances to use in sorting lexis into hierarchically organized semantic classes. Concordances are sophisticated by supervised classification tasks. Example: researchers teach the program specific bits of slang. For example, sick meaning cool is a positive approval. Opinion mining and sentiment analysis offer a highly sophisticated analysis. In most cases, automatic analysis is faster and more reliable than human tagging. Automatic tagging of digital corpora for themes and attitude is routinely used in businesses and research. Software packages also generate statistics and data visualization. Themes: what content ideas are frequently realized? Attitude: what emotion do people realize about those themes? Polarity: are the themes and emotion positive or negative? When asked about topic online studying, They wrote about the pandemic 3.5 times more frequently, and time 2.1 times more frequently. Home, life, and family all about 1.8 times more frequently. Correlation. With words appear together frequently. What words appear together frequently? What ideas do this participant group associate? Pearson correlation coefficient scores approaching 1 are strongly correlation. A value of 0.05 or less indicate a strong correlation which cannot be accounted for by random distribution. Value slightly higher than 0.05 indicates a less reliable correlation, but when similar ideas clumps, for example, affect and effect, the aggregation score is strong. Example correlations. Talking about the benefits, I have more time than average to focus on my study. This may reflect a common educational analytic paradigm, benefits, and drawbacks. It allows family members to spend more time together, but not all the family can enjoy the same benefits. More likely to reflect personal experience and opinion. We are all feeling more uncomfortable staying in our home. Feeling or feel we need aggregated scores. My family and I have no more ideas besides staying at home and living a healthy life. Online learning elicits emotion. We need a breakdown of which emotion were elicited. It is hard for me to concentrate on my work because home is a place for my family. We want to know polarity. Is online learning a negative or positive? It was undoubtedly problematic to concentrate without being distracted by our friends. Some of the same issues turn up across several frequently realized themes. Pandemic is the most frequently linked to time, home, and secondarily to affecting lives, family, and friends, especially through activities of staying and spending. Home has a physical impact, staying. Change affected lives. Friends affected time with family at home, but no clear connection with friends. Online, primarily linked to classes, courses, learning, and also to home. But the prompt elicited far greater commentary on their experience in the home context. The two sets of themes are fairly distinct, with overlap as collocated of the others, as if there was an unannounced topic, the pandemic. Online is about classes and learning and elicit fewer words. Implication. Online learning is less important to this participant. More important, eliciting more words and more diverse connection. Word clouds represent the ideas in a corpus by the side of the word. Online learning is about pandemic. When people answer the question, they respond to what they think is the main idea. Our question, what's like learning online, means how did the pandemic affect your time, home, life, families, and friends? This is how AUP students define the topic. Few comments or complaints about online learning, classes, teachers, or teaching. Comments or focus on their personal experience in the home context. Polarity, positive emotion, 2.22, considerably lower than the norm for similar personal casual writing, such as blog. Participants frame problem with online learning as their failure, not due to text or teachers. Negative emotion, 1.98, is slightly above norm for similar personal casual writing, such as blog. As one participant said, quoted, I got mental fatigue after staying at home for too long. I started to worry about things I should not be worrying about. All I can feel is fear and panic. It is kind of miserable because I really miss going out with my friends. Unquoted. Participants realize time, motion, and leisure and somewhat more frequently than the norm. They realize work and home more than twice as frequently. A participant said, quoted, I have more work to do in the case of having to submit assignment as I have to do more researches and having to proofread my works. Here in Cambodia, schools, restaurants, and other businesses and some public places were shut down, but they weren't forced to stay at home. We were able to quickly adapt to it despite being a threatening situation. Drive values measure psychological motivation. Participants realize affiliation, like family, friends, twice as frequently as the norm. They realize achievement and reward slightly more frequently than the norm. They realize power slightly less frequently than the norm. As one participant said, quoted, I am expected to go to a focus on my school and get high grades as a student. These expectations are similar in terms of succeeding or being good. However, it can be very conflicting because it cannot be done perfectly at the same time. If I choose to solely focus on my studies, I have to spend less time with my family. It is a very difficult thing for me to do, and I believe that I am not the only one struggling with the balance between social and work life. In this research, I have drawn 5 points to be discussed in the following. First, themes. Given the opportunity to reflect on the modes of teaching delivery, these participants reflect on how the pandemic had affected their time, home, life, families, and friends. There's a sense of home environment as not a good context for learning. They would rather go to another venue. Network graphs indicate students clearly distinguish between these two content areas, online learning, and their own experience of it. After the pandemic, online education delivery will be far more widely used, suggesting educators cannot evaluate the use of online learning without understanding the context in which students learn. Secondly, specific themes, time collocates are significantly positive, but collocated for homes, life, and friends were mainly negatively affected. Again, educators should consider a potential for the benefit of online learning to be offset by negatives in other areas of students' life. Third, emotion realized were more negative than positive as compared to the norm. More negative emotion attached to the home context of their learning. Yet it is clear that these students did not overall realize like online learning and would prefer on-campus and classrooms. Fourth, to some degree, frequently realized and infrequently realized emotion reflects cultural norms. The anxiety may reflect the awareness of the poor quality healthcare in the country. The most frequent realization of anxiety and less frequent realization of anger compared to the norm may also reflect the fact that Cambodia is more collectivist than individualist society. The slightly more frequent realization of achievement and reward drive slightly reflect their social status as elite and their current status as university students. But the very high affiliation score with the low power and anger scores probably reflect the Buddhist values instantiated in the educational system, which emphasize personal responsibility in the service of the group. Again, educators must take these realities into account when considering the use online delivery modes in the future. Some situations may be better suited to online learning than others. And educators have to address this arising in specific culture. Fifth, despite the very low level of coronavirus in Cambodia, at the time data was taken, participants were very anxious and their sense of risk was high. Our initial hypothesis was wrong. Students discussed China and Wuhan. This support showing that students even in developing economies are proficient consumers of international news and interpret local reality in light of global trends. Students in elite institutions are known to have hybrid local and global identities. Our research has one limitation. It was a small sample size, which more research is needed. Thank you.